Coming up on today's show, we're talking different trade ideas and rumors and buzz and stuff floated out there from ESPN and more. The Cowboys sometimes make trades in the offseason. Will they make a trade this offseason? Get your predictions in. 1 for yes, 0 for no. Let me know in the comment section of today's video if the Dallas Cowboys will make a trade. Let's start with the Jets, and we'll come back to them, by the way. ESPN and Spotrac mentioning a possible Breece Hall trade. ESPN thinking it's very possible. Spotrac specifically proposing a Cowboys deal. Here's what Michael Gannetti, the Spotrac host, or writer, I should say. From A to Z, the Jets organization appears to be at a crossroads, setting up an opportunity for rostered players nearing next contract negotiations to be poached. Running back appears to be one of the deeper positions on this Jets roster. It's up to float Hall in trade discussions this March if they look to bulk up on draft picks for a pending rebuild. Excuse me. Let's talk Breece Hall here. Player stats, last 3 years, pretty good overall. The efficiency has dipped a little bit in maybe what is a negative sign for your overall coaching staff concerns, etc. The Cowboys, or the Jets, excuse me, thought that they had enough options on there, that they had thought that they had gotten enough touches for Breece Hall, and he had 1,000 yards on the ground in 2023. They messed up, and he didn't. They miscalculated that and had an oopsie. But this has been a 4 to 5 yard per carry player pretty consistently over the course of his career, so I do appreciate that angle. And we know that running back's a huge need for this team. Rico Dowdle is a free agent. That's the one guy you maybe trust to handle more than a couple touches right now because we haven't seen Lipke do it, haven't seen Deuce Vaughn do it, haven't seen futures deal player Malik Davis do it. Yeah, they're kind of in dire straits for running back, and they're going to be linked consistently all offseason long. This is the trade idea from Spotrac. Now, I will make note that they mentioned it was a 2-year deal for Breece Hall, which is a weird typo because it's not true. He's got 1 year left. Don't know why they said it that way. A third and a sixth, which for me is not great. That's just not that's kind of expensive for a 1-year rental of a running back. Even though he's a guy I like. And I think if the Jets had anything resembling a consistent passing offense, he'd look a lot better in terms of the production too. So would you trade for Breece Hall? The third is a lot for me, but there's no fourth. So like 2 5s? Does that intrigue you a lot more? I don't know. Sound off at the pinned comment of today's show. Y for yes, N for no. I lean no, especially if it costs us a 3rd round pick. Go vote the pinned comment of today's video. Time is a flat circle, and once again, the Kyle Pitts trade rumors have reappeared. ESPN in particular mentioning it in one of their off-season articles. They pitched a Bengals trade in particular, which, Burrow and Pitts is certainly quite fun. And then our friends over at Cowboys Wire said, well, Dallas should do this because, Dak loves the seam ball. Kyle Pitts can fit that. Kyle Pitts' usage has been very unusual in his time in Atlanta. He's not really like the slot receiver tight end. He's like the outside receiver tight end. And with Drake London there, I think that's been a negative for him in terms of the success and results. On the positive side, his touchdowns have gone up each season. Yards per a catch went up this past year too. But he had the injury at the end in 2022 and was never quite the same post-injury. And I think it's kind of raised some red flags there. He's also fairly expensive, which we'll get to here in a little bit. I do think tight end can fall into the sneaky need category. But it's a sneaky need of give me an impact player. Jake Ferguson was a colossal disappointment to me relative to my own expectations. There's not many players on this Cowboys team that I thought were a bigger disappointment this past year than Jake Ferguson. He never looked right. Added some weight to be a better blocker, didn't work, got injured, struggled, seemed to lack some confidence times. It's not a good sign. Schoonmaker was better. Don't know if I trust him. Brevin Spanford can block. Cool. I don't need a tight end. I need an impact tight end if I'm going to go down that path. And in the end, I don't really buy this as an option. I don't know if the Falcons are going to trade him. I think they don't have much tight end either. So you're kind of creating a hole to not do much there. It would also cost the Cowboys $11 million. And that's a lot of money for a team that doesn't like to spend. Now, upgrade your tight end room, I think. I would still not draft him in fantasy because I was burned previously, as I'm sure many people were. But I'm not This one does not pass the smell test for me, so to speak. Today's show is made possible by Prize Picks. It is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. Link will be in the comment section and the description, by the way. These are the Pro Football Playoff Prize Picks slate. My boy Jack Lotteray cooked up for me. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, love these more than rushing yards. Joe Mixon, just the 1 touchdown. It's a demon line, so you get a little bit of a better payout if it all hits. Download the Prize Picks app today over at prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. It's prizepicks.com/CLNS. Don't have to win. That $50 is guaranteed once you play that first $5 lineup. Link will be in the comment section and the description of today's show. Let's go to, of course, Davante Adams is on here. And I wonder, by the way, if Bleacher Report had written this article and kind of locked it in before the McCarthy news. And because they kind of had a line that was that's kind of a jarring line about Mike not being there anymore. I think they kind of had to edit it a little bit. What bothers me is the trade package here. Cowboys get Davante Adams, a 3rd and a 5th round pick. Now, I still believe Adams is a damn good football player, despite quarterback issues and all kinds of stuff this past year. He went for 1,000 yards. Him and Rodgers still would occasionally turn back the clock as well. All that's good, etc. He's also shown signs of decline. He's 32 years old, and don't want to give away the juice here. The contract is significant as it relates to Davante Adams. The deal is not exactly a massive one, or it is a massive one. I think would cause potentially major issues. But the Cowboys, in terms of the wide receiver, do need help at that spot. They've got bodies right now in the wide receiver room, but it's not the best players. Brandon Cooks is a free agent. I don't think anybody here is I think Jalen Tolbert, Jonathan Mingo, Turpin, Cooks, Brooks are all better than Adams. Nobody thinks that. But Davante Adams is due $36.25 million in cash each of the next 2 seasons. The money he is owed each of the next 2 years, this counts on the cap too, is the highest paid wide receiver in football. Highest paid everything outside of quarterbacks in football. I don't think anybody wants to pay Davante Adams that. And you could approach him hey, let's do an extension, and you guarantee $36 million, and now it's a 3-year deal with, you cut that number in half. That's a lot of juggling to do. I would actually watch for a release. I would watch for a release of Davante Adams. I would not be surprised if he ends up getting cut by the Jets, because the money is just such a issue on that front. One more bonus one. We'll see when it comes out. I would bet DK Metcalf trade rumors start this offseason. The contract, the kind of plateauing of the play, all of that. I wouldn't be shocked if Davante Adams or DK Metcalf trade rumors end up emerging. And tell you what, I don't think Bleacher Report looked at the money. Don't think they did. We do. For Cowboys off-season coverage all year long, hit that sub button, youtube.com/CowboysTV. Free Cowboys videos each and every single day right here on the channel. Now, many people have thrown out Dak Prescott trade ideas. So you don't just have to listen to me on this. You can also listen to Adam Schefter. He said these people that have suggested trading Dak to the Titans for the number 1 pick. This is fantasy football. There's too much money. You can't do this. Let me break down the money here. And look, it's a lot of money. We know that. Dak's current cap hit, which is consistently being used as $90 million. It's not, though. It's built in to be restructured. It's still a lot. Don't get me wrong. But the restructured cap hit is $52.7 million. So all this 50% of the cap taken up by 3 guys. No, it's not true. It's half that. It's closer to under 30. which is not that different than other big team contracts out there. You restructure him, still a lot. It's a lot of money. But as we've broken down, you can get so much cap space to spend. It's not actually a prohibitive contract unless you choose to make it one. The trade cap hit is $103 million. And there's no flexibility there. You can't magically post June 1st like you can post June 1st to cut. You eat $103 million if you trade away Dak Prescott. Now, I'll say this. You can do this if you want to. You can find a way to build a roster and have the $103 million cap hit. The problem is the roster sucks. It's not good because you're eating so much money in that 1 year time frame that you really can't spend anything. And that it becomes double the cap hit anyone else has ever taken. It's just not feasible. It's a bad way to build a football team. So if your argument becomes that you can't pay Dak that much money, well, then you can't do this either, because that's even worse.